Hello everyone. Today I am going to discuss functional dependency. Functional dependency is the most important topic in DBMS because it is also very much useful for the concept normalization. For the process or the concept normalization, as we know that normalization is also very important topic. So for that process, we have to understand functional dependency and some other concepts also. So in that point of view also functional dependency very important. So let's start. Functional dependency. Focus on the name of these two words. Functional dependency. These words itself are saying that something is dependent on something. So what something is here? Because we are talking about relational database. Relational means we are talking about tables. Each and every value stored in a table. That is why we have to consider a table. And we all know that in a table there are so many rows, attributes, values, right? So on that attributes we have to check that functional dependency is existing or not. So let's take an example. If we are taking a table, suppose this is a table where we have two columns. First is roll number and other one is marks, like this. Now if we have three students, roll number 511, roll number 512 and 513. Now the marks of students 420, 450 and 420, right? This is a table. Here we have taken two attributes. According to these attributes we can identify the functional dependency, right? Now if I ask to you that tell me the marks of roll number 511, okay, then there would be no problem. You will just type the roll number 511 and you will get the marks 420. No problem. Because we all know that if we talk about the semester exams or board exams, then the same system exists. Means a single ID or roll number exists, and according to those roll number and ID we used to get our result, right? So here also I am taking the same example. So we entered 511 and got marks 420, right? Now if you want to search about 512, then again there would be no problem. We'll simply enter 512 and we'll get 450. And if we talk about 513, then we'll get 420, right? So here we'll say that marks are dependent on roll number, or you can say marks are functionally dependent on roll number, right? Why? Because entering roll number we are getting our marks, right? So we can say that roll number can identify marks, right? So there would be a functional dependency. There is a symbol which is used to define functional dependency, and that symbol is with the help of this arrow. See, this arrow we can understand the functional dependency. If we have written like roll number is identifying marks, means here we are talking about functional dependency, right? So we can say or define functional dependency in many ways. Like we can say marks are functionally dependent on roll number. This is a way. Or we can say roll number can identify marks, right? And this functional dependency exists, right? So there would be no problem if marks are same, because it will happen naturally. So many students can get same number, right? So there would be no problem, because what we are checking roll number. Means if we enter a roll number, then we'll get the marks, and its opposite does not exist. Means we enter the marks and then we'll get roll number. No, that would be not a case, right? So this is all about functional dependency. Means the simple example I have taken, by which I think you got about functional dependency. Now let's talk about some technical words, technical definition, that what is functional dependency. So see, the functional dependency is a relationship that exists between two attributes, right? In previous example, I have taken roll number and marks, two attributes, and the relationship exists between those two attributes. So like this, you can define functional dependency. And see the second point. Like this, we can write or define the functional dependency. Here we have written X determines Y, or you can say Y is determined by X. What is the meaning of determining? If we are having the value X, then we can search the value of Y or identify the value of Y, right? Don't get confused the value of Y. Some of the student used to confuse that if you talk about the value of Y, means we are talking about the computation of Y. Means we are having X and we have to compute Y, calculate the value of Y. No, that is not the case. Here we have to only search, right? If we have some value, then we have to search some data according to that value, right? So according to second point, we can say that if we have the value X, then we can search the value Y, or we can find the value from the given table, right? Now the last point, the left side of functional dependency is known as determinant. The right side of production is known as dependent. Obviously, Y is dependent here. Why? Because Y is depending on X. If we know the value of X, then only we get the value of Y. So Y is dependent and X is determinant, right? So this is a functional dependency. Now let's take another example. See, example, in this example we have taken two attributes like the previous one. So in this example, if we talk about X to Y, like this, X to Y is existing or not, means we can determine Y with the help of X or not. So here we'll say the value of X is 1 and we are getting Y A. Okay, no problem. And if we are having the value 3 and again we have to find out, okay, then value is G. If value of X is 6, then the value of Y M. Then there would be no problem, right? Here we can say, okay, this functional dependency exists, right? Like the previous one. Now, if we include one extra row here, see, if we have taken one more value or the row of this table, see, in this case if we again talk about x to y, now check for this relationship. See the value of this row, or in table we used to use the word tuple for rows. So it is the tuple number 1, tuple number 2, tuple number 3 and tuple number 4. These rows are known as tuples. So we have 4 tuples in this particular example. Okay. Consider the tuple number 1. Here we have taken x. The value of x is 1. Now check the value of y. The value of y is a. Okay. Now check the value of tuple 2. The value of x in tuple 2. Again, the value is 1. But here what we are getting? Value is b. Right? Means we are getting different value of y on the same value of x. So that is not correct. Right? Means we can say that this is not a correct functional dependency, or you can say that y is not functionally dependent on x. Why? Because of these values. Right? According to previous example, you can say if we are entering same roll number, like first time we entered 511, then we'll get the value 420, the marks of student 420, and on some other day we again entered roll number 511 and we are getting some different marks. How it is possible? Right? This is incorrect. So according to this we can say no, y is not functionally dependent on x. Right? Now let's take this case. Here I have taken different values of x. Now if we talk about the same functional dependency x to y. Now let's check tuple 1. Tuple 1 having the value of x is 1, and according to 1 the value of y is a. Okay. Now again check the value of x. Now this time value of x is 2 and the value is a. Okay. That is okay. Right? Because we can have same values of y on different values of x. It can be possible. We know. According to our previous example, if we have different roll numbers but marks can be same, right? So according to that example we can say that okay, there is no problem. We can say that the value of each y is dependent on value of x. So here x can determine y, or this functional dependency exists. Right? Now the next example. Okay, now we have to understand the condition. We have seen lot of examples, 3 examples we have seen. Now we have to understand the condition by which we have to find out functional dependency, whether functional dependency is existing or not. So this is the condition. See, here we have taken tuple 1. This is known as tuple 1. T1 means tuple 1. We are talking about first row. Tuple 2 means some other row, right? Or some other tuple. So the x value of tuple 1 is equals to the x value of tuple 2. If these two values are same, then only we have to check about this condition. Right? And this condition, if this condition is also true, then we'll say that yes, x to y is existing. Means this functional dependency exists. Right? And what if the first condition is false? if the first condition is false, then we'll never check for the second condition. Okay, because there would be no need of checking the second condition. Why? Because if two values of x are different, then what is the need of checking the y's values, right? Whether the y value is same or different, it is not the case, right? So we have to check only the first condition. If according to first condition the values of x are same, then only we'll check the second condition. Second condition means the value of y in tuple 1 and the value of y in tuple 2, right? If these conditions the values are same, then only we'll say the functional dependency exists. Let's take an example according to these conditions. See, in this example, what we have taken, see the tuple number 1 here. This is the tuple number 1 and this is tuple number 2. In tuple number 1, the value of x is 1. Okay. The previous condition was t1 dot x equals to t2 dot x. Then we have to check t1 dot y equals to t2 dot y. So if we are taking the tuple number 1 and 2, then check the condition. The value of x in tuple number 1 is 1. Now check the value of x in tuple number 2. This is 2. So these two values are not equal. And if these values are not equal, then there is no need to check second condition, right? So it is not the case, means there is no problem. According to these two tuple, we'll say that x to y functional dependency is existing. But we have to check all the tuples. Let's take some other tuple. If we take these two tuples, you have to consider the tuple number 2. Here you have to take this tuple and this. You can say this is the tuple number 3. Okay, or according to the row, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you can say this is tuple number 5. Now you consider the tuple number 2x equals to tuple number 5x. First check this. Okay, the x of tuple number 2 and the x of tuple number 5. Okay, both are equal. Okay, if this condition is true, then we have to follow the second condition, right? And the second condition would be t2 dot y equals to t5 dot y. Let's check. Okay, now the t2 of y, see, this is having the value 1 and this is having the value 5. Means we are getting different values for the same value of x, right? Here we are getting, see, in this condition we are getting 2 and 2, but in this condition what we are getting? Different values. Here we are getting 1 and here we are getting 5. So these two conditions are not fulfilling the functional dependency condition. So according to this, we'll say that x is not determining y, right? So this functional dependency will not exist. So this is the case according to the functional dependency. Means if we are having a value or the given key or some value according to which we have to find out the attribute, then that value must be different. Like in this given table, we can see that each value of x is different. Here we have taken different values, but in y you can see there are same values. So there is not a problem, because the value of y can be same, because we are talking about this functional dependency, x to y. If we are talking this, then yes, this functional dependency is existing, because each value of x we are getting the value of y, and each value of x are different or unique. So definitely this functional dependency will exist. We can say y is dependent on x. If we talk about some other condition, like if we talk about opposite condition like y to x, then this functional dependency will never be exist. Why? Because the same due to same problem. See, y value is 1 and we are having x value 1, and for this y value 1 we are having the value of x 2. So these values are different, right? So this functional dependency will never exist, right? So like this we have to check for given functional dependencies whether the functional dependency is existing or not. So we have to understand the condition for checking the functional dependency. This is the condition. Okay, you have to remember this condition. According to this you have to identify the functional dependency. That's it for functional dependency. I hope you understand all the logic of functional dependency or the concept of functional dependency. In our next lecture we'll understand or we'll try some other example so that we can easily find out the functional dependency. Okay, thank you.